And aloha, that was absolutely unfrickin' real. I don't know what to say. I'm well. Me and Lance kind of talked about this at the beginning. You know, if the Blues came out and played hard and lost a 2-1 game or something like that, we'd be okay with it. Not this one. Not this one. That was absolute. That was horrible. That was just freaking horrible. I sent Lance a link. I don't know if he's going to be able to come on. I mean, it's got to be killing him. Yeah, brutal, so close. You outplayed. They outplayed them so much. And Michelle and Bob, clearly a weekly attempt to clear the zone. Yep. And you know that, O'Reilly made a mistake, and that cost us. Michael here, love you all. Can't do it. I'm out. Hope this ends up being an eye-opening loss. It's just not our year. I'm out of answers. I'm with you too. I'd rather lost in overtime than that. I agree. I mean, we had a point. We absolutely had a freaking point. We had a point, and it slipped it through our fingers. And it's losses like this that you look back on at the end of the season and you go, "Yep, there's that point we needed." Yeah, it really is. Brock, and I'm sorry, man, that wasn't a birthday present you wanted.
No, well, I'll tell you what, you're right. There's a point they need to get at least 1 point out of this weekend, and they got 0. And they gave the division leader 4 points. Luckily, the Gold Knights lost, but still, I mean, Colorado's just cementing their place in first place. It's just, I'm not sure what you're
putting here. Well, if the Knights lost, they were playing the Wild, right?
Yeah.
The Wild sneak up even further on us, and I don't know if Coyotes play today or not.
As of right now, the Blues are out of the playoffs as of right now.
Oh yeah, they've been out. They were out coming into the game. This is not. This is frustrating. Feel bad for Huso. He played his guts out. Yeah, Jim.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right, my friend. You're absolutely right. Not gonna lie, I'm frustrated with this team this year. Tom, we all are, man. I feel like for the most part they outplayed them. Bet on outplayed them today, right? This was, and you sit here and you're trying to figure it out. What's wrong with the Blues? That was effort. That was the best game they played, except for the last 2 power plays. Last 2 power plays, discombobulation. They get it in the zone and start cycling, they're okay. But they can't figure out how to get to that point.
Yeah,
that's the problem right now.
When's the last time you've seen that? It's been 4 or 5 games since they've really cycled,
yeah. We have 4 games left at home, and our home record sucks. Where's the anger and heart? Non-existent for the past 2 or 3 weeks. Sam, you might actually be right. Vic, Vic, you're a great troll, man. I give you credit. You're a good troll. How's that? My show. I get it. Rub salt in the wound. The Blues should have won that game. The Blues outplayed Colorado the entire time, right? I guarantee you, if these 2 teams meet, this goes 6 to 7 games. Absolutely. I think it does.
If.
Oh, yeah, there's the big if right now. The Blues, I don't know what they do between today and Monday. I don't know what they do between today and Monday. I really don't. Right?
Do a mental cleanse.
Yeah.
Sit down, get zen with your yoga instructor or something, but you're this game is mentally going to screw them.
Yeah, no, they are. Go ahead, Brock.
Well, I was just going to say that, Coach Berube had a closed-door meeting with the veterans, after they came off the Ducks series when they lost, the goofy game against the Ducks, and he called in all the veterans and, had the come to Jesus meeting and all that. And supposedly they were going to come out fired, and they just really didn't. And then, obviously tonight they picked it up, but, the end result is they're not winning games. That's what counts.
straight losses
Yeah.
have, I think, 2 points. Last 6 games, you have 2 freaking points, right? And it doesn't get easier. You have 2 games against the Knights. You have 2 games against Minnesota. You know, it's not get trash and have fun on the flight home. I don't think anybody's having fun on the flight home, you know. This team is there's something missing. There really is something missing. And you know, you've got now here's what Berube's got. Or not Berube, Doug Armstrong. 2 games. Trade deadline's the 14th. We play the 15th, I think. Right? So you've got the 2 Knights games to figure out if you're going to make a trade, rid of it. No, they didn't.
Okay, but
they didn't look at the stats. 62% in the blue zone, and under 40 of it wasn't as close as you think. Uso saved them. Should have been 5-1 if not for him. Blue hater, not a blue hater. I'm an Avs fan. Okay, well, you know what? I can say the same thing about freaking Grubauer. Right? There were, you know, Grubauer made some great saves too. There was, you know, I'm sorry, you know, the eye test tells me that the Blues, for the most part, played a hell of a game.
Right? Oh yeah,
and I'm sorry,
but okay, you were talking about the trade deadline.
Yeah.
Okay, who do you bring in? Do you bring in a forward? Do you bring in another defenseman?
I'm talking about the selling off, getting picks. Talking about selling off, calling it a season, right? Being a seller instead of a buyer. You know, that's what we're looking at.
The thing is, though, they're not that much off the playoffs right now. They're 1 point behind
but
Arizona.
You lose those 2 games. You lose those 2 games to Vegas. Arizona wins 2 games, and we had 1 game in hand. Now they're 6 points ahead of you.
Yeah. You can't sugarcoat it.
6 points ahead of you. No, because we're evened up with them now, and they're still 2 points ahead of us.
Yeah, you can't sugarcoat it, can you, guy? You can't sugarcoat.
No, you can't sugarcoat anything. Right? Let me bring in Lance to Scott. Lance, I know this has got it. This one hurts, man. This one absolutely hurts, bud.
It hurts. It hurts the way they lost. You know, a lot of people think it hurts more because they lost in that last, minute or so. A loss is a loss, but I do see. I'm trying to look at the positive. Yeah, we've lost 2 to a team that was way in front of us, points that we needed because Arizona is now ahead of us and the Sharks are creeping up on us. The Kings are only 4 points behind us. I'm very happy with the effort. And to be honest, if it wasn't for Grubauer and Husso, this game could have been a 6-5, 7-6 type of game. Both of those guys deserve a lot of credit. Grubauer in the win and Husso in the loss. If anybody blames him for this loss, they do not know hockey and they do not know goaltending.
No, Husso's not to blame for this loss. I don't think that either.
Husso he's the reason that they were so close.
That's right.
Yeah. Husso played a great game. Absolutely. The first goal he gave, I mean, both goals. The goal he gave up against McKinnon was just a great shot by McKinnon. And this was a seeing eye shot that went in when he was completely screened. So I'm with them. And Jim, you know, it's hard. Jim Siegel says, I don't think the Blues should be sellers at this point. Win the 2, you know what? I think it comes down, for me, it comes down to the Vegas games.
But the
you win them both.
If it comes down to the Vegas games, that doesn't give you enough time to make any kind of deals. So then you're scrambling around trying to ship guys off. If you're going to be a seller, you're trying to ship guys off in 2 days. That's not enough time.
Yeah, and Jeremy,
if you're Doug Armstrong, you want to make a deal, you do it now. You do it Monday. You do it before the first Vegas game.
Here's the
Because if you're going to make a significant move, you have to do it before you guys play one of the top teams in the league. I'm sorry, Lance. I know you've been saying
No, that's all right. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. And I think Brock and Guy, and you'll agree with me. Are the Blues 1 player away from being true cup contenders? No. I don't think they are. Are they 2 players away? Maybe if they're the right players. Are those 2 top tier, first line, top 25 in the league guys available? No, because everybody wants them. And if they are, it's going to be for 3 first-round picks, an up-and-coming prospect, and another player. It's not worth it. These guys have a lot of decisions to make in the offseason. They've got a lot of decisions to make after next year. So by signing a lot of guys, it may muddy the thing up. I say unless it's a minor move, just to maybe give you some depth and strengthen up something. Like if they could move Dunn, I don't think moving Dunn makes them any worse. Does it make them better? I don't think so. But if they could move Dunn and get a second-round pick out of him, people are saying it's a first. Nobody's offered them a first. The highest they've been offered so far is a third. And Armstrong wants a first, but I think he would take a second. So I just don't see moves.
He'd probably take a second and like a lower tier prospect.
Yeah, I don't think this team, like I said, making any changes is going to make a difference. They played great tonight. They played okay to good last night. It's good to see them doing that. They just need to start closing teams out and putting that pressure on them. I thought Colorado had a little more pressure on Husso in the third period than the Blues did on Grubauer, but the Blues did have some opportunities, and I think you guys will all agree the score doesn't tell the game. If you looked at this and you think, man, the Blues didn't really have much chances, they had some great chances.
Oh, had great chances. Bozak missed one right there in the middle of the third, towards the end of the third with like 4 minutes left that would have capped this game.
And
right? He missed it.
Grubauer made some amazing saves.
Clifford.
And if it wasn't for Phil, I guarantee Colorado would have lost this game.
I wanted to bring this up because I know we talked about this at the intermission, and I'm interested in what Lance says. I don't think this Blues team is built to chase a game. In other words, if they have the lead, I think they play a lot better. But if they have to chase the game, it really gets away from them. And we've talked about it just all season. They've been down 1-0. I mean, I don't know the last time they had a lead. I'd have to really think about it. Definitely
the Ducks 2-0, and they lost 3-2 in overtime.
Yep. Yeah. So, but my point being is that I just think there's that's a key to this whole thing is they're letting teams in early on, and they're chasing these games, and they're just not built for that. I don't think.
No, I don't think they are either. And sometimes even when they get that lead, like the 2-0 lead against the Ducks, it's like they stop trying to force offense. They stop trying to force it and try to lay back and try to protect the lead. Yeah, you've got to protect the lead. You've got to play strong in the neutral zone and the defensive zone, but you've got to keep that pressure on their goaltender, because if you don't, a 2-goal lead in my mind is one of the worst leads to have in baseball and hockey, whatever. But I agree with you. They're not built to come back from, especially games 3-0. 2-0, a little easier, but still hard on them. 1-0, not as big of a hill, but they're not that team.
They've been they've been down 1-0 in the first 30 seconds. It's just like insane. So I think that's where my frustration is. It's like you go to get a beer, you come back and they're down 1-0. Like what? Wait a minute. So that's new for me. That's different. I'm not really used to that.
Yeah. Hey, Lance, this is for you. I want your assessment on this. Say the Blues decide to move on from Vladdy in the offseason. What do you think? What do we get back in a trade in your view?
Oof.
Well,
I don't think that's happening. I don't think that's happening.
Number one, I don't see it happening. I think if it does happen, it'll be at the next year's trade deadline. If he's not doing well, or if the Blues are way out of the playoff hunt next year, they could move on from him. Right now, with him not being proven coming back from the injury and not showing that he's not going to get injured again, and he's only been back a few games, I don't think teams are going to give you very much for him. I honestly see a third round draft pick and maybe just an average type roster player. These teams, especially with COVID, they're going to be very careful how they do trades. They're not going to want a guy that just came off an injury, and if they do get him, they're not going to give much for it. But I'll tell you what, I don't think anybody on this team's not tradable. I wouldn't want to trade Kyrou, Vlad, probably not. But if somebody went to them and says, "Hey, Doug, I'll give you 3 number 1 picks and a second line right winger for Vladimir Tarasenko," you've got to consider it. I don't think that's going to happen. But yeah. I think right now the most they could get out of him, maybe a 2 if they're lucky, but a 3. And there's no way in Hades that Doug Armstrong's going to give him up for that.
No.
Yeah. I'm absolutely with you on that. I don't think he does either. They play best against high quality opponents, and it was a good game tonight.
Yeah.
And this one, Lance, I'll let you answer this one. They can't protect the lead because they don't play heavy anymore.
Well, I wouldn't say it's not because they don't play heavy. I think they start making mistakes and they shut down and they go into what I call lockdown mode, to where all they want to do is play defense, and they're happy just to shoot the puck out of the defensive end and in the neutral zone. There's not a lot of approaching the blue line with strength. They tend to back up a little bit. Their defensemen aren't coming up as much in the play as if they were behind. But no, I don't think it has anything to do with heavy. Everybody says they won the Stanley Cup because of being heavy and physical, and they hit everything. Well, number one, if you've played the game of hockey, you can't hit everything, because if you hit everybody when you have every opportunity, number one, it wears your team down through a playoff. Number two, it's going to put you out of position, and it's going to give them a scoring opportunity. Number three, it just doesn't happen. They've got a good defensive team that's not playing as well as they should be playing. I think Parayko makes a huge difference, although some people have called him nasty words for the word being a weak defenseman. He's no Chris Pronger, but he can be physical at times. He's not going to beat you to death and take over a game like many of us saw Chris Pronger too. Chris Pronger, Bobby Orr, and Doug Harvey and those type of guys, they could take over a game. And Parayko's just not that guy, but they are missing him big time on that number one line.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'll agree with you. Hey, everyone, this is Guy, the Y Blues fan. You are watching the Blue Note Fan Report on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We are brought to you today by Forrest Crump Enterprises, War Stories Coffee, and Mike Zook. Joining me today from the Drop Hoppy Podcast is Lance the Man Scott. Also from the St. Louis Fan Report, Brock, the birthday boy Banner. And our producer, the lovely Mrs. Jeremy the Fox Miller.
Mrs. No, the missus
I'm
is
sorry,
in.
man. I had to do it.
The missus is in bed. The missus is in bed.
What's your
That was
pronoun?
good though.
Pronoun.
That was good.
What's your pronoun?
His pronouns are
Yeah, what's his
his
pronoun?
pronouns are. I don't have them because I haven't figured it out yet.
Hey.
Jeremy, you know we love you, man. It was just.
Guy,
Oh no, man. That
his profile, he prefers to be called he or him.
he or him. Hey, well, you know what I am? I'm McGee now, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
You know
I
what?
love that
And I'm sitting here, and this is what oh man, this is one I hear a lot, and I disagree with this. They're missing a player like Reeves. They have one half guys like Reeves. We need a player that will beat the crap out of the other players.
Well, that's what Kyle Clifford was supposed to be.
That's what Clifford was supposed to be. He's
Clifford,
heavy, but he's not super heavy.
Well,
right?
They don't. But the thing is, I know I'm new to the fan base and everything, but from what I can see, they need to get rid of Berube in the offseason. Find a different, maybe a younger coach, and then use the speed that they have on this damn team to their advantage.
Yeah.
I've seen earlier in the season, Kyrou flying down the ice, spins around, finds, who was that? I think it was Hoffman. Beautiful pass to a goal. Kyrou's got speed. Sanford's speed. They've all got speed, but they're not allowed to use it because if they use too much speed, then in Berube's system, they're out of position.
Yep.
And then they get chewed out by him.
I've been told he's got one more year. He's got another year, and if the same things are happening like they've been this year with the inconsistency and basically a 500,
he won't make the whole year,
which is what they are. I don't think he'd make the whole year.
No, right? if they don't make the playoffs this year, and they keep on this trend,
they pull a yo, yeah.
And they're gonna rip him.
I agree with you, Jeremy. There's a lot of very knowledgeable people that say don't blame Berube at all. However,
no.
A coach, no matter what system he has, if he gets a player with a different skill set, he finds a way to use their strengths within his system to succeed. And I don't see Berube doing that with everybody. Am I saying he's a bad coach? No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying he needs to let certain guys be certain guys. And
Why is
what?
Blaze on the bench? Why is Blaze on the Why is Blaze on the press box?
Yeah,
Why is all that
say
speed in the
Brock?
press box?
Brock, you were going to say something?
I was just going to say he had some of these problems in Philadelphia. A lot of people don't really remember that he
bring it up
late to Steve Mason,
Yep.
the goalie, and was the face of the franchise. So
Philadelphia's got the same issue right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
They thought that Alain Vigneault was going to save the Flyers, and they've got the same damn situation now that they had with Berube back then. Because look at what he's done with Carter Hart. Carter Hart was a freaking Vezina-style goaltender, and now he's sitting the pine.
Yeah, and
I love you, but you got to save that for another show.
Players that played for
Yeah.
I know some of those players that played for Berube in Philadelphia, and the ones that were there the 3 years he was there, they said after about the first year and a half, he just lost the locker room because it was the same motivational speech. It was the same thing, same message over and over again. And it got old, just like the guys from Minnesota told me. And one of them was Ryan Suter, told me that Mike Yeo just got old. He got old in the room, and nobody was respecting what he was saying. When he pitched a fit, it was comical. It wasn't taken seriously.
Yeah, and I think you know what? I think that's happening with Berube. And I don't want to sit there and pat myself on the back, but I said this at the beginning of the year. I came out and said it, and I got flame sprayed.
Yeah, you did.
But lo and behold, if everything that I wrote in that article wasn't absolutely right, everything that I wrote wasn't absolutely right. Yeah, this is the bullshit that we got to deal with, and we're not dealing with it.
Yeah, players have to play, coaches have to coach, and if they both don't do it consecutively, it doesn't work. And I'm sure there's nights Berube's game plan is perfect, but on that night the players didn't execute it, and then the next night maybe Berube's game plan he didn't adjust well in the last game, and he keeps the same game plan, but the players play well. You've got to get it in sync. Everybody must be on the same page.
No, I'm with you. Darkness, I got to give Darkness credit here. At least we aren't Sabres. Hey, you know what?
You know what?
That
Sabres
O'Reilly
are on
trade,
a 4-point streak right now.
Yeah, they are. But that O'Reilly trade finally paid off. Tage Thompson scored. Tage Thompson scored the game winner in the shootout.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. So I put a tweet to Melody Martin and says, "I guess the O'Reilly trade finally paid off."
Hey guys, you know what we'll be hearing next? We should have never traded Tage Thompson.
Yeah. And I was surprised they let Thompson go, but with what they got back in O'Reilly, absolutely worth it.
And they dumped Patrick Berglund. That was
Sabotka.
the big thing.
And Sabotka. Yeah.
Sabotka, I think Berglund would have still been, if Berglund would have stayed in St. Louis, he'd still been a decent player. I really do. Once he went to, no, you know,
I don't.
I love the guy, and I'm so proud that he came out and took a stand for his issues. And instead of trying to keep playing, he worked around him, and he's now back in the league he needs to be in. He's more comfortable there. He knows a lot of the players there. He knows the cities, and he's doing a pretty good job over there. It's not NHL talent by any means. It's probably about what AHL talent is, and I'm very happy for him. But he was just one of those guys that one year he'd have 25 goals, the next year he'd have 9. And then some years you didn't see him until February, and then he would just shine. And I would ask myself, and I would tell people on my podcast, why can't this guy play from October to the end of January like he does from February on? Because there was those years in February to March, he'd have 12 goals.
Yeah.
And he just wasn't consistent.
He was the master of that playoff goal, that shocker of a playoff goal. You're like, well, what, he's still on the team?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get that. I seen him differently, and we all see things differently. I got to tell you something. So I was looking at the pucks that they have on the auction.
Yep.
And they have 2 pucks, and I'm going to say this name wrong, from Alan Quinn, I think it is, from the Calgary Flames.
How's it spelled?
Say again.
How's it spelled?
Quine.
Yeah, it's Quinn.
I thought it was Quine.
Quine? Okay, Quine.
Quine. It might be Quinn. I don't know.
Yeah, but these are from December 16th, 2018. This is the game that caused me to flip my flag upside down.
That's right. That is right. That game in Calgary.
Yep. No, this was in St. Louis. It was in
That's
St.
right,
Louis.
Yep.
I bid on those 2 pucks. If I win them, I'm going to give them away with the contest. These are the pucks that caused me to flip the flag upside down, and we ended up winning the cup. I just wanted to throw that out there. I thought that was kind of interesting as I was going through and so. Let's see. Mike Dante says the only way the Blues will ever get McKinnon type player, suck really bad and get the first pick in the right draft year. The Blues are always competitive, never a high draft. Well, you know what? We had that. We had it, and we took Eric Johnson, who's on the Avalanche. You know,
Yeah.
we didn't get the guy. And who was it that was in that draft?
Was it Taves or Kane in that draft?
Hayes. Hayes was in that draft.
Yeah.
And so was Marchand.
Yeah, but you know what?
I wouldn't want
I'd
Marchand
rather-
anyways.
I would have rather had Johnson out of those 3 anyways right now.
Yeah, because you know what? Eric Johnson is not right now, and you look back at his career, was he worthy of that high pick?
No.
Probably not.
Probably not.
But I'm going to tell you, every scout I talked to, every pre-draft person said he was a top 2 or 3 pick, definitely. So I'm not the only one that thought he was better than what he was. But you know what he's become? He's become a solid player.
Yes.
But you know what? You shouldn't be a solid player in the top 2 or 3 picks. You should at least be a top line person. And you know what? I love Doug Armstrong, and he's done some bad moves in the past, but he's worked his way out of some of those moves, like Yori Laterra, so on and so forth, to get Braden Shen.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, I think he's smart enough that if there's a team that's bad enough, but they want somebody, and they finish 29th or 30th in the league, that he could pawn somebody off on them and get a first-round pick. I think that's the only way we're going to get a first-round pick because, Armstrong is a good enough GM. They've got a good owner, and I don't think they're going to be making terrible picks, and they're not going to be finishing in the bottom 6 or 7 in the league.
No.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I don't think that either. Tanner says that I got to throw in that flip flag with that puck. I only have one of those. If I had a second one, I would. But I might have another flag I can throw in there.
Hey, guy, you can always take a picture of it and send it to him with the puck.
Yeah, the flag upside down. We've blown a lot of top picks. We have Eric Brewer, garbage. Actually, do you know this?
Eric Brewer wasn't our pick. We traded Pronger for Eric Brewer.
Yeah,
That's right.
Do you know how many Hall of Famers the Blues have drafted?
Ooh.
I know it's a lot. It's a lot more than you think.
It's
Two?
not.
2.
2. Federico and one other guy, and I can't think of his name, but we ended up trading him, and he went on to
Joey Mullen.
Huh?
Joey
No.
Mullen.
What? Okay, then it's more than 2. I thought I could only think of 2.
Joey Mullen's a Hall of Famer.
Okay. Now there's another one. I can't
Yeah,
think of
Joey Mullen has a special place in my heart.
Yeah, I bet he does.
Oh, I have to go back and look at that again. I thought that the amount of players that we drafted that were Hall of Famers were
here's
really,
what I
really
look at it.
minuscule.
Every year the Blues aren't in the Stanley Cup, which has been every year but one. If
Yeah.
you look at the 2 teams in it, there's always 2 or 3 ex-Blues players on those teams.
Oh yeah.
Almost
Always, yes.
Oh yeah.
We didn't draft. I don't think we drafted Shanahan,
We
did
didn't
we?
draft Shanahan. New Jersey did.
Yeah, Jersey.
He says
did it.
Bernie and Joey Mullins. There's one more. I know there's one more, and it's a name. I got to go back and look, and maybe I'll put it in the
can't
group
think of it.
later.
Those are the only 2 I can think of.
There's
Yeah.
one more, and it's like a big name, and I can't Carbonell or something like that.
Oh,
Lee Carbonell?
Lee Carbonell?
The defenseman?
Yeah, I think. Huh?
The defenseman Lee Carbonell?
No, not Lee Carbonell, but there's one
Guy.
big
No,
name
not
that
Lee,
we
Guy.
drafted.
It's Guy Carbonell.
Lee Carbonell. Yeah, I think we drafted him.
No.
Gilmore.
No.
Gilmore.
Dougie
Gilmore.
Doug Gilmore. That's it.
Yeah.
Right?
Doug Gilmore. That's it.
Dougie was
That's something to
drafted
look
by
up.
the
That's something to
Blues?
look
Yeah,
up.
Doug
You know.
Gilmore, yes.
Yeah.
Doug
And
Gilmore.
The
That's
only
the guy.
reason he was kicked out of a town was, let's just say, supposed impropriety with a younger woman. So let's just leave it
Yeah.
at that.
Yeah. I heard about that. No, this is look, guys. Let's we're not getting totally out, but what we're looking at right now is what the Blues are at a decision point. That's what this is all about, right? Well, we're all coming around. We're at a decision point. We're at the trade deadline's less than a week away. We're 2 points out of a playoff spot, if not more. What do you do? What do you absolutely do? Do you just back off? And not only that, here's the other thing. Let's say you get into the lottery. Now your chance of moving up is even less than it was before, because instead of picking 3, they're only picking 2. And I absolutely hate that. You know what I would love to see him do?
I thought that started next year, though.
I think
Not
it's this year.
draft.
I thought
I
it
think
was
it's this draft.
Is
I
it
thought
this
was
draft?
I thought
Yeah,
it
it's
was.
this draft.
Okay.
But you know what I prefer him to do? I prefer him to do an absolute, instead of doing all this number thing, put the balls with the like they did in the first pick this time, the COVID draft with the pictures on them.
The lotto balls.
I don't care. You put them all in there and you keep pulling until you pull all 13, all 15 names, right? Just keep pulling. Do a complete lottery draft all the way down until you get them all.
Yep.
Right?
I agree.
Don't do this. So right there, what that does is that changes how you look at. Hey, first of all, it takes tanking out, right? Because right now you're giving Buffalo no less than the 3rd pick in the draft.
Yep.
Well, they're
No less
playing
than the 3rd pick in the draft.
no less than the 3rd pick in the draft. To be honest.
Well, another reason I don't like the way they do it now is because there was a writer, and I'm not going to name his name, had an article ready to be printed about how, let's just say, some of these drafts have not been on the up and up, and certain teams that got them were top, like were the first 6 teams, or a popular team that needed a top pick, like Chicago got one year.
Yeah, Chicago, Toronto.
Yeah, they haven't been accused of that in the last 2 or 3 years, but there was some. He was about to write an article in his paper in Canada. I'm not going to say where because you'll figure out who it is. Number 1 told him he couldn't do it. Number 2, the NHL told back that they would sue him for slander if he did it.
Was it Elliot Friedman? I'm gonna put you on the spot.
No, it wasn't Fridge.
I'm kidding.
Fridge wouldn't be that stupid.
No, Friedman wouldn't do that. He wouldn't hang himself.
Yeah.
No, but
He's got Gary Bettman on speed dial. No, Elliot Friedman ain't touching that. But
by the way, while we're on the subject of Elliot Friedman, right?
Oh,
I'm gonna call this out because I'm gonna back you up, Lance. When the Taylor Hall stuff came out, Freeman dead on said the Blues were in on Hall.
And what did I
dead
say
on
afterwards?
said that?
What did I say
Dead on.
afterwards?
Say again?
What did I say afterwards?
Yeah, you said that the Blues weren't in on Hall, and I agreed. I agreed that if there was anything, it was to drive the price up, and I didn't even see that right now because that only works once. But we got flame sprayed, chewed up, and spit out, and then 3 days later, or 2 days later, he comes back out and says, oops, I've been walked back on that. I've been told it wasn't the Blues in Hall.
Yeah.
So what Freeman says isn't always right. So,
But you know what, Guy? People will never give people like you and I credit. And I've had people email me, I want to believe you, but you're not telling me your sources. Does Elliot Friedman tell you his sources?
Nope, you don't. No one does.
Most of them guys
Right?
don't because if they do, they won't be told anything anymore.
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, you know what? I get these great interviews, right? I've been asked so many times, how do I get them? You think I'm going to tell these guys how I get these interviews?
Nope.
Lance, I love you to death. I really do. Do you think I'm going to tell you how I get my interviews?
Well, number 1, I have an idea. Number 2, I wouldn't ask.
Bingo. That's what I'm getting at. There's certain things that in this business, and this is what this is. I do it because I love it, but it's still a business.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say how I get this stuff because I've earned it.
Yep.
Especially since that's one of the reasons that we met.
Yeah.
It's also just like Brock, when Brock writes an article, whether it's for the Hockey Writers or for STL Fan Report, if he gets a source with something, he probably won't even tell you, Guy, because if he does that and you slip it out, even not on purpose, his source will never tell him anything ever again.
And Lance, let me throw this out at you because it sounds like sometimes these sources come to you. Like you don't
Yeah.
have to seek these people out. They want to get their story in the media or they want to get the scoop. So don't think it's like we're turning over trash cans. It's like people are coming to us saying, "Hey, I got a tip for you," or "Hey,
Oh yeah.
with
Yeah.
XYZ."
Yeah, that's
Well,
a
I mean,
lot of my
I can't
sources
think
are
of
players.
Adam. I think his name's Adam Schefter, right? The
Yep,
the guy from ESPN for football.
Yeah.
He put out that Bill Parcells, he had a deadlock source that
Yep.
Bill Parcells was supposed to go to this certain team.
Yep.
And it came out that he went to another team. The source was Bill Parcells.
That's right.
Bill Parcells knew he could mislead the media so he could do the other deal that he wanted to do.
Yeah, he went to Dallas.
Right?
He went to Dallas when he was supposed to go elsewhere.
Yeah, that's the stuff that happens in this that you guys got to understand. I listen to what I get told. I listen to the rumors, and I think about, okay, what makes sense, right? And that's what it comes down to. What makes sense?
Well, you know what I have to do. A lot of my, not a lot, but a good amount of my sources can be agents. I'm not going to say which agents or which agents for which guy, but they've got an agenda. And when they tell me something, I have to look at it and think, why are they telling me this? Are they doing this to make other sides want to get in on this bidding for this guy? Are they doing this for this reason? And a lot of times I won't say anything. It's because if I'm not sure why they're telling me, I'm not going to put it out there.
Or you wait for a second source. You wait to get it corroborated.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
I mean, that's like, I had it. I had it. What happened to Bobby? I had it. Get on, right? Had it. You guys saw what I had.
Yep. Yeah.
And I still refuse to release it.
Yep.
Right? That wasn't my place. It wasn't my place. I didn't feel it was right. I just came out and said that it was that I knew this, and I left it at why I knew it. And that's all I said. But I had it. I absolutely had it. And that's the thing that we're looking at here with all of this. This is rumor season, and you're going to keep hearing it and hearing it and hearing it.
But
And Kyle Scott,
the general fan doesn't care who reports it. They're just on to the next thing the next day. So they don't care if it's NBC or you or hockey writers or Lance. It's like, okay, that story's over. What's tomorrow's story? And that's just how news has become so disposable. Diaper, really, to be quite honest with it. You're done with it, you move on to the next thing.
Yeah, and all I ever ask of people is respect my opinion. You don't have to believe it, but don't tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. Just say I don't believe you. I think it's something else, and I'll be great. You know, thank you for your comment. Thanks for not bashing me.
Yeah.
There you go. So I want to bring this question up for all four of us, right? Why do we keep losing? Right? I'm going to bring this up I'm going to start with, well, actually, let me answer this question. What do I mean by it's rumor season? The last week, the week before the trade deadline, you hear it all. This guy's on the trading block. That guy's on the trading block.
The month before the trade deadline,
you
hear them all.
It started with people telling me stuff January 21st.
Do you know? Do you know how many times I've heard Ricard Raquel is going to get shipped to Boston? Ricard Raquel is going to get shipped to Toronto. What the return's going to be for Toronto or from Toronto to Anaheim? It's like, please.
Yeah.
It's manipulation. It's manipulation because you have, like you said, Lance, you have an agenda. So let's get to this question. Why do we keep losing? I'm going to start with Brock on this one.
Well, again, I'm going to go back to we get behind early. We're not being our defense is we just can't clear the puck. I think in years past we're just really with. I don't know if it's because of Alex Pietrangelo or not, but we just had a way to get the puck out. We're just really struggling. We can't, and I feel like the team's been really sloppy. Their puck handling's been real sloppy. A lot of passes going over sticks. Passes going way too far. So I just feel like they're a little sloppy and they're not as tight as some of the league leaders are right now.
Okay, I'm going to slip down to Jeremy on this one.
I'm going to the same kind of route as Brock, and I'm saying that obviously missing Colton Parayko is a big thing, but it's a next man up mentality. and the next man up's not helping. Torrey Krug is a great defenseman, great, hockey player. He is horrible in St. Louis. And the only reason that they had to pick him up is because Petro went to Vegas. So they had to get somebody in that they wanted, or that was, big name that could help them. Krug was not the answer. Krug was not the answer in Boston. Krug is not the answer here. Falk is doing more on that top line than Krug, and it's proving.
But
The defense
we'll
has
get there.
gotta stand.
Yeah, we'll get there. You just brought up a really, really, really good point, but we'll hold on.
Okay.
Lance, on you.
Well, I want to talk about the Krug thing. There was a rumor that people had heard that Boston didn't want him. And I told Guy that that's not the truth. And then Guy found out it wasn't the truth. Boston did make him an offer, and there were other teams making him offers. Pietrangelo kind of put the Blues in a tight space. Armstrong knew what he wanted to spend, knew that if he spent more than that, and he offered him a no movement clause for every year of that contract, which Armstrong normally doesn't do for those long-term contracts. I think it's inconsistency. I think this team, from one period to the next, from one shift to the next, they're just too consistent. They either play down to their opponents or they play up to their opponents. There's no consistency within the team. I think there's leaders on this team, but I don't know if they're right type of leaders. And that person said earlier, we'd be better with Ryan Reeves. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, look at Ryan Reeves with the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Las Vegas would still be a good team without him. He doesn't get into as many fights that people thinks he does. The Blues are just, in my mind, too inconsistent.
Yep. Okay. So I first of all, for me, this is Berube has lost the locker room. I'm sorry. I feel it. I just see too many lackadaisical things that make me think his message has finally gone stale. I'm going to leave it there. Now with Krug, I want to touch on the Krug because you brought up Falk. It took Falk an entire year to figure the system out. Once he figured the system out, right, because he started showing it in the playoffs.
Yeah, but
in the playoffs last year.
Do you know what helped you the most?
Moving to the right position.
Moving to the right side where he's played all his life.
But in the playoffs, he really started coming around in the bubble playoffs.
Yep, that's because
right.
He started. Yep.
But he was still on the left, but he still started coming around but he started learning the system. I think the system for a defender, this system allows some pinching, but not the amount of pinching that Krug is used to, and it's getting Krug in bad position. And what I mean by pinching, for those of you who don't know, defensemen usually stay back, and if the forwards, as the play's coming, they will come forward to help in on the offensive side. That's called a pinch. Well, the negative side of a pinch is if the defending team gets it, now they've got a clear shot to the net, right? You're on your heels. So Krug is pinched a little more than he should, and he's also a smaller defender. So you have him defending. You had him defending McKinnon, right? When you flop that to Scandella defending McKinnon, Scandella kept McKinnon at bay most of the time. So again, he's not getting put in the best positions, right? And that's what I think. And Chris Shockley said that I don't see leadership on defense, good players, but no one get them. That clicked up, no one to get them on the same page. Absolutely. And then Michael says, how many coaches do you ship off before player heads start to roll? Well, first of all, I think there's one more coach that's got to go. I think there's one move, and I said this yesterday, and I'll stand behind it. There's one move you can make right now and will immediately improve this team, and you won't touch a player. You get rid of, the coach we brought in, guy from Dallas.
Oh, Jim Montgomery?
Jim Montgomery.
Mm-hmm.
Because the power play is discombobulated. The penalty kill is discombobulated. Whatever he's doing ain't working. It ain't working. I'm sorry. I have not
Guy,
seen.
he's got a lot of guys replacing guys, and he's got a lot to teach these new guys the system, because in the AHL, they're probably not using the blue system. So these
No.
guys come up, and not only do the forwards have to learn their responsibility within the defense and within the power play and penalty kill, the defensemen need to know. And Berube's system is, I wouldn't say it's intensive or it's a tough system like Mike Martz's was in football, where you got to be super smart. You've got to really play exactly like Berube tells you to play for it to be successful, and you cannot get out of position in his place. I don't think Jim Montgomery should be fired, but I understand why you would think that, because like you said, as soon as he came in, things just went downhill. And I think some of that has to do with the injuries and these younger guys coming up. But you know what? I've seen guys get let go for a lot less.
Right.
Before we had a single injury, right? This power play sucked. The injuries didn't affect this power play until later. This power play off the get-go went 0 for like 15 or 16 before it finally scored.
Yeah.
Okay? The penalty kill was giving up goals left, right, and center. We gave up four power play goals to Colorado in the second game of the season.
Yeah, but guys,
and Jim Siegel brings them. We had Hoffman, Krug, and Falk were power play specialists. And it's not working. Whatever we're doing is not working.
Here's the thing, and it's like I've told you. You told me today that you've seen video of the Blues practicing the power play. But like I said, due to the CBA, they only have so much practice time. They're not spending an hour or two on the power play every time they practice it.
No.
It's probably somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes. And 10 or 15 minutes, it's hard to get in what you want to say. And I'm not saying that he's not to blame. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just
I get it.
Why it might not be working.
And I'm with you there. I agree with the other Chris. We are missing leadership. We need Colt 55 back. That will help. Him, Scandella, Krug, Falk, and Dunn, Bortuzzo, and Wallman. No, I want to know where Mikela is. There's speed. Blaze. You have Mikela in the press box. You have Blaze in the press. You have speed, and you won't use it.
Because Ruby doesn't know how to use speed.
If it was up to me, Bortuzzo wouldn't play, but every few games, and Mikela or some of the other guys would play more. If it was up to me, Bortuzzo he was never a great defender. He was a solid one at one time.
You're welcome.
But yeah, thank you, Pittsburgh. But he's not that anymore. He makes too many mistakes. He's out of position, and he takes too many stupid penalties. Yes. I wouldn't play that man, but maybe one every fifth game just to give somebody a rest.
Yeah, he says, but so we can have the Blues system to the minor, but we don't have a minor league team. Yeah, that's another issue.
We're sharing one with Utica.
Yeah, Utica.
Because Springfield decided to opt out.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
hey, can I say something about that?
Yeah.
The Blues said, "Yep, they opted out of our contracts. We got to find a new affiliate." Here's my thing: I've written contracts with Microsoft, Apple, all this and that with major billion-trillion-dollar companies, and there's always an opt-out clause, and there's an opt-out clause for both teams. There should have been an opt-out clause in that clause for the Blues, to where Springfield had to pay the Blues a certain fee.
Well, actually, they didn't opt out of the contract. This was a COVID opt-out.
Yeah, it was a COVID.
So we go back to them next season.
No.
Springfield's done. Springfield goes to Columbus.
Yep.
Really?
This was the last year that the Blues.
Yep.
This was the last year that the Blues had Springfield. Springfield goes to Columbus next year.
Yep.
Oh wow!
And
we only got them for 1 year.
Yep. And
Columbus.
And there
I forgot who Columbus
had. There was no clause in there that they had to pay the Blues something if they opted out early, and there should have been.
That's kind of like with the Toledo Walleye down here in the ECHL.
Yep.
We split with Chicago, Detroit, and Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
We just need to start our own minor league team up in Kansas City.
By the way, Jeremy, I love the Walleyes jerseys. Those are so great.
I know. I want to get one. I got to get one. I haven't been to a walleye game in a while. And
Well,
it
guys,
sucks
we're,
that they
we're pushing our
opted out.
time here. We're almost
Yeah.
up to an hour. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. This is Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan. You're watching the Blue Note Fan Report on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. We are brought to you today by Forrest Crump Enterprises. If you need any construction work done in the bi-state area, St. Louis and Metro East, give them a call. By War Stories Coffee for veterans, by veterans, and helping veterans. And Mike Zook Enterprises. You need a jersey? He's the man. You need shirts? The man. You need anything? He's the man. Check out Mike Zook Enterprises. So, this is Guy, and I'm going to say a big, huge thank you to Lance Scott from the Drop Hockey Podcast for joining us. Lance, we always love having you on the show.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I'm sorry that sometimes I talk too much, but I appreciate you having me on.
You never talk too much. We have Brock, the birthday boy banner from the St. Louis Fan Report joining us, and the Hockey Writers. Again, Brock, happy birthday, my friend, and welcome. You got any great stories coming up for us, Brock?
Kid, well, I do want to say one thing.
Yes,
I
sir.
really appreciate all your support on my articles, not only for the Fan Report, but the Hockey Writers, because, again, we don't really have a lot of St. Louis reports there, so we're trying to just provide those. So by you guys sharing those and connecting with the fans, it just shows the Hockey Writers that we're a viable market and what have you. So I really do appreciate that. I know you guys have all done that for me. And
Absolutely.
it's not selfish. It's just to get the word out. I really appreciate that.
Oh, no problem,
Yeah.
man. That's what it's for. And then we have Jeremy the Fox Miller from the Fox Sports Podcast with Brock and the Fox. We're missing a Brock and the Fox. We got a Brock and the Fox coming up soon.
We'll talk about it. My work schedule is kind of hectic right now, so
Yeah.
But we'll figure it out. And this is Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan, all the way from Honolulu, saying aloha, mahalo, and I can't wait to see you all on Monday night. This is Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan, saying you gotta know that I'm bleeding blue with you. And let's go Blues! Happy birthday, Brock!
Thank you, dude.
And my mouse doesn't want to work.
oh
If
no.
it's not a button, it's a mouse.
Thank you.